Ray Epps is a Fed. Ray Epps is a Fed. I'm sorry. Like, I'll admit in the past, I was very, very convinced that he was a Fed, like, in the past, but this has just cemented it. This has just absolutely cemented it. Ray Epps, target of Capitol riot conspiracies, sentenced to probation. A former US Marine who was targeted by online conspiracy theorists has been sentenced to 1 year of probation for his role in the Capitol riot. Now, for those of you that have not seen the video, in the days leading up to January the 6th, which wasn't an insurrection, I wish it was, but it wasn't. Unfortunately, a desk gets shit on, a podium gets stolen. Oh, we've discussed this before. It's not a game of capture the flag where if you capture the building, the entire country's military apparatus and three-letter agencies are just going to go, oh, darn, and like, oh, they run the country now. It doesn't work like that, right? But he was seen in the days leading up to it going, guys, we're going into the building, and there's been a few times where people started going, Fed, 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 basically entrapment, it was a honeypot. They were trying to instigate the January 6th stuff and all that. And he was seen multiple times in the days leading up to it. And then on the day, he was doing the same thing again. And unfortunately, on January 6th, some people took the bait and took part in a little bit of a false flag, because it was a false flag. Now, the thing that's really, really weird about that, in fact, we'll wait until we get into the sentencing. Ray Epps, 62, pleaded guilty last year to disorderly conduct. He was pictured outside Congress on 6 January 2021. He was also videotaped many times in the days leading up to that, but did not go inside the building. Curious, even though he was the one telling everyone to do that. Epps, who has always denied claims by fringe news outlets it's not fringe news outlets, everybody's bloody talking about it, and online activists that he was a federal agent, avoided jail at a hearing on Tuesday. Now, that's the part that's funny. I'm totally not a federal agent, but while other guys are getting 17-year sentences for shaking a fence, and even Owen Schroyer get hit with a prison sentence when he practically did nothing, right? All these people are getting hit with massive fat fucking sentences over the January 6th stuff. Whereas this guy, multiple times in the days leading up to it, was trying to actually instigate and start the thing, avoided jail. Completely. Yeah, we're all supposed to believe that he's not a Fed. I think what happened was he's a special agent of some kind, right? But unfortunately, his face got out there. Everybody managed to find out who he was and managed to dox him. Apparently, very strange gap in his career after the military. Strange. But no one could find that part out. How weird's that? But basically, his face was everywhere, and basically everyone was going, hey, FBI, who's this? This seems like a person of interest, and they avoided it for quite some time. They grabbed everyone else. And started criminal proceedings immediately. But Ray Epps took some time. Took a little bit of work, and you would think you would want the guy, the first guy who was out there talking about going into the building before anyone was even thinking about it. Right? And I think it got too big and too many people figured out who he was and too many people had eyes on it, but it's like, we'll just go and get a wee show trial and whatever. Right, but we'll go into the rest of the article. So in addition to 1 year of probation, right? 1 year of probation, he was sentenced to 100 hours of community service. Now, Joe Biggs, a guy that I know, I've spoken to him a few times, he's a father with children, got 17 years. 17 fucking years. And all he did was basically say to his buddies, yeah, let's go do this, woo, and then he shook a fence. 17 years. Whereas the guy who was instigating it, not just on the day, but in the days leading up to it, how weird is it that he was there every single day? How weird is that? I mean, doesn't he have a job? I mean, sorry, he was already at work. But Epps was captured on video in Washington on the 5th of January and the 6th of January after travelling to the city from his home in Arizona. Where was he staying? In footage from the night before the riot, he was seen urging people to enter the Capitol building. Members of the crowd were suspicious and chanted back, Fed, Fed, accusing him of being a law enforcement official. I wonder why they were saying that. The following day, during the riot itself, Epps was seen on another video whispering into the ear of a man who then charged at police lines. Epps later said he unsuccessfully tried to calm the man down. Or maybe the man was another agent and he's like, can you go do some shit to try and see if everybody else will follow you? They were trying to get people to go into the building. After the riot, conspiracy theories began to circulate online that Epps was secretly working for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but the Bureau denies that he was ever an employee or a source. Because of course they did. That's what they do. To be honest, they wouldn't be a very good 3-letter agency if they were like, oh yeah, he works for us and he's a source. Like, oh, they denied he was a source or he was an agent. Yeah, they all do that. They all deny it. That's what they're supposed to do. That's standard protocol. Even guys who blatantly do work for them, they deny that they work for them because that's what they're trained to do. The rumours started on alternative news outlets and alternative news and fringe social media accounts. Well, maybe if it was one or two, that'd be a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a nothing burger. However, it's all of them. All of them, and people keep uncovering stuff like the strange gap in his employment history, and why was he there in the days leading up to it? Why was he antagonising everybody to go into the building when he really wanted it to happen? And he may have been one of the actual guys that caused the entire thing by fanning those flames, yet people are getting 17 years for shaking a fence, and this guy's getting a year of probation and 100 hours of community service, which I'll bet he doesn't even have. That was all just for show. He probably doesn't even have to do it. I bet Ray Epps isn't even his fucking name. They became part of a larger effort in some right-wing circles to minimise the day's events and shift the blame for the riot away from the crowd of Mr. Trump's supporters. No, but basically, it's starting to come out the fact that, the fact that police were just letting people into the building and stuff like that. The entire thing stinks. The entire thing stinks. I think it was a big Reichstag moment. That's what it feels like to me. Oh, look what they did. Like, no. I think that was an excuse for a little Patriot Act 2.0. Epps, a former member of the Oath Keepers militia, who actually got done by a source. Wonder who that was. An undercover agent joined the ranks. Wonder who that could have been. Said that he got carried away with his mistaken belief that widespread fraud swayed the 2020 election and his support of Mr. Trump. What a weird way. Yeah, by the way, that's one thing. Sees like MAGA hat and all the elections stolen, but then after all this stuff, he immediately goes back to, oh no, he changed his mind. No, I think he went back to what his actual opinions are. I have learned that truth is not always found in the places that I used to trust, Epps said via video link during Tuesday's hearing in Washington. Talk shite. Defense attorney Edward Ungvarsky said in a statement that he welcomed the decision and that it would allow Epps and his wife to try to move forward and try to repair their lives from the incessant verbal and other attacks on Mr. Epps that have led to very real past and current concerns for their physical safety. Oh no, I think he's going to be just fine. All of his colleagues will be able to keep him safe. But still, don't actually do anything to like fucking Ray Epps, because that, basically don't fucking poke the bear. The arrest and sentencing have not quelled the rumours about Epps. No, they've fed directly into it because everyone was getting handed fat, dirty sentences. But this guy gets a little slap on the wrist when he was like patient zero. He was there the day before it, trying to fucking get people to do it. He was the first guy. Strangely, isn't it? Epps has pushed back against the allegations. In July, he sued Fox News over the rumours, accusing the network of defamation and claiming he had to close his business and move to Utah, not wise to tell people where you moved to, due to threats and harassment that he and his wife received over the conspiracy theories. Fox has said its on-air hosts were entitled to share constitutionally protected opinions about Mr. Epps. At least 1,265 defendants have been charged with crimes related to the Capitol riot, according to the latest figures from the US Justice Department. More than 900 have pleaded guilty or have been convicted. And there you are, that's the end of the article. I'm going to say it now, he's a Fed. He's a Fed. I usually try and maintain a little bit of a, maybe, guys. Or I'm not going to go Phil DeFranco and go, but what do you guys think? Being a cringe gay boy like that. Nah, he totally is Fed. It's just, like, look at him. Look at him with the Trump hat, and he's there, like, the day before. Like, he had, like, This was all planned. I'm sorry. There's too much stuff about January 6th where, yes, FBI agents were in the crowd. Yes, they entered the building with the protesters and they were taking part in it. Yes, they, like, some of them were like encouraging it and everything. Again, it's all hearsay, but guys were going on. It turns out the guy in this picture was an FBI agent, and people are pointing out, going, that guy was like fucking handing me bricks and shit like that. Yeah. The entire thing is suspicious as fuck. I think the entire thing was a big false flag that they managed to trick everybody to go along with. And the fact that everyone is getting handed just monstrous sentences, whereas patient zero here that was there the day before barely gets a fucking slap on the wrist, and magically all of his political opinions change and all that at the last second. Nah, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.